So what's going on, guys? I'm bringing another video where I talk about all the interesting things to me in the world of technology, and we have Apple fans attacking the channel like nobody's business. Now, I don't really have a problem with this usually, but then I start hearing the things that people are saying, and even with people that I talk to, people are not really saying they like Apple anymore. It's not just like, hey, I like the iPhone 5 or I like my MacBook Air or whatever. It's not like that anymore. People are actually saying, hey, I like Apple, and you know what? Google sucks. And I'm like, what? What happened to you? You used to be the person who would say, hey, I like my device, it's cool and everything, but now you're trying to call out Google? The reason why I think it's funny is because you see Google and what they do. Most of these people are using YouTube, or even stuff like Google Maps, or even, I don't know, using the Google search. So they like Google. But when it comes down to the Apple products, right away they want to say Google sucks. So I think what's going on is this shift in the market where people are choosing sides, which is fine. You have to get that phone that connects with all your devices, whatever. If that's your opinion and you want to do that, you want to go with an Apple device and you think it's great, by all means, do it. But when you start pointing out the other companies in the market and saying they suck, or you start writing articles about some of these devices and saying that they suck, you need to have reasoning. Now, if you're walking around with an iPhone, you have to be the epitome of hypocrisy. If you hate Samsung, the A6 chip, yes, the chip that Apple likes to promote during their presentations, which always makes me laugh, because there's a big fucking Apple stamp on it. But Apple doesn't own it. Apple purchased it, but Samsung made it. And Samsung's going to be making the chips for the new iPhone. Why is this? Because Apple can't create that technology on their own. That is the situation that they're in. It's not a good situation, but that's what's happening. So, as far as I'm concerned, when people start saying this, that, and everything else sucks, you might want to take a minute to read what's going on about the device that you own. And for the people out there that review this stuff and tell you the specs don't matter, yeah, the specs do matter, because those specs are supported by other companies besides Apple. Now, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the device, but it does mean that you need to know what's going on. And I think when people start questioning me and start saying go back to Korea, you gotta be kidding me. There's so many products that come into this country. I don't know if you didn't do your reading, but they're from Asia. So you should appreciate the whole world on a global aspect and stop looking at Apple as the pride of America, because they really aren't. When you want to stifle competition and you want to price fix ebooks and take advantage of your consumers, that is not what America is supposed to be about. So I don't care where you're from around the world. We can all understand when a company tries to sue and litigate their way into the #1 spot for, I don't know what, for smartphones and tablets. This is not the way to do business. And when people want to tell me that Apple is selling the best products, it has to be based on facts. I know how Apple produces their products. When I see things that are created with technology that's used at certain dates, yes, everything can be outdated at some point, but really they don't innovate a lot. That's what's going on with Apple, or not going on. So I don't really think that this company is impressing me with what they're doing in the market. Android is a platform that I support because I like Google. If I didn't like Google, I would not like Android. And even with Samsung and them using Android, I am a fan of Samsung because their technology impresses me. If you want to compare even Samsung to Apple, I just read a story that Samsung's producing, medical equipment in Africa. When's the last time you heard any kind of story like that about Apple? Truthfully, I'm pretty open-minded to the companies that I like. I could like Samsung, who knows, HTC, whatever company is doing the best, innovating, I'm gonna like that company and I'm gonna support the products they make. Even with the Moto X recently with Google, there's people out there saying, wow, it's impressive, this, that, whatever else. These same people who bash Android, they're ridiculous because they're trying to say, well, 2 dual-core processors, nobody's going to notice. And a quad-core processor, not a big deal, who cares? It makes no sense because these people are showing a lack of understanding and education. Because when you say, I don't care about the specs, it's not all about the specs. Yeah, it is sometimes, because when you're talking about the speed of a phone, I think everyone wants to enjoy a fast phone. I haven't heard anyone say, I want a slow smartphone. It doesn't make any sense. So for people out there to even question and say that people are not interested in the fastest phone, that's a rejection of technology. And that's kind of a rejection of technology that we've seen from Apple. They don't want people to have the best devices out there unless it's theirs. So I don't want to hear from people who are reviewing these phones that specs don't matter, that this company sucks or whatever if it's not Apple. These are the people that you need to stay away from when you're trying to get a fair review. I don't want to hear your opinions about lag in Android if it's not true. Because when you don't provide benchmark testing, you're not a source of good information. And there's people out there who do this, who knows what they're doing, trying to get attention, whatever it is. But when people are watching you for a credible source of information, you should state the facts about each company. And if a company was found guilty of price-fixing ebooks, you should be explaining to the people that you told to go buy products from them. And that's not going on. And I'm seeing a lot more of it like I explained before. It's not just the people who are the reviewers and the fans of technology. It's the normal consumer now saying, you know what? Google sucks, but I like Apple. And that's a point of view that's skewed. It's not understanding about what's going on. And the more people know about what Apple's doing when they're not doing business with consumers in the stores, the more people are going to understand what this company's up to and how they use their money to gain power and control of the market. And it's not always working, as I'm seeing now. It's not that easy to get into the mobile telecommunications game and try to take over just because you're a company with a powerful brand. You actually have to own the technology, and you actually have to own the hardware inside to do this. And Apple doesn't have that complete control where they can go run and do whatever they want. And this is why they lost a lot of market share to Android in the last few years. Again, this is not because I'm a fan of Android. Look at the numbers, research the facts, this is what's going on. And to all the people who come to my channel and want to say negative things, whether it be go back to Korea, Samsung sucks, Google sucks, HTC sucks, you gotta be a little bit foolish if you don't understand what's going on in this market today. And if you think that Apple is the best company just based on the iPhone, you're really not understanding about what's going on. And that is the truth. So you guys can tell me what you think, of course. Post a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys later. Cheers.